Hello, grade 7s. Today we are going to do indirect speech. As you know, direct speech we don't really focus on in grade 7. We usually focus a lot on indirect because direct speech we learn a lot about in grade 4 and then it just stays the same. It's not really tricky. But indirect speech gets more and more difficult as each year passes. So in grade 7 it's really tricky. So just to remind you of the 5 rules of indirect speech. I've written them on the board. We will look at them a bit later. But just to show you that I've uploaded on Collaborum the worksheets for you. They look like this. This is the first one. This is actually just information about direct and indirect speech. You'll be able to see that it tells you exactly what they both are and then give you more information about the tenses, as well as the next page that I've given and uploaded on Collaborum tells you about more information about auxiliary verbs that changes as soon as we write them in indirect speech, as well as when we use time words, they also change from direct to indirect speech as well. So to start off with, I'm going to just give you an example here. I've written on the board here, she said it is getting late. Now, if you look at that sentence, we are going to apply the 5 rules of indirect speech first of all. And just to refresh your memory, number 1 is you write the person's name. Number 2, the saying verb. Then you use that or if, you change the pronoun, and lastly, you're going to change it to past tense in the indirect speech. So in our example here, she said it is getting late. First of all, the person's name, there's no specific name, but we know it's she, so we use she. Second, she wasn't shouting, she wasn't asking, she said, so we use the word said. Then we use that or if. If is usually used, as you can remember, in questions, but not always. But that is usually in a statement. She said that, and then change the pronoun. First of all, she said it is getting late. She said that it was getting late. There is actually no pronoun in that sentence, so we didn't have to change that, but we had to change is to was because we have to write it into past tense when we do the indirect speech. Let's look at the 2 different sentences. She said it is getting late. She said it is late. If you look at those 2 sentences, the only difference is the tense of the 2 sentences. As you know, this is written in the continuous, present continuous tense, and this is written in the present simple tense. So what is important and what you will see on the first page that I've loaded up on Collaborum for you, you will see that they give us examples in this table of how the different tenses, if you change it into the indirect, you have to keep to the same tense. You can't change it to a different tense. So you can see in these 2 examples that she said it is getting late. She said that it was getting late. You still have the ing of the continuous tense. And in the simple tense, it is late, it was late. So it's important that you don't change the tense of the sentence. You have to keep to that, and that you will lose marks if you do change the tense of the sentence. All right. The other thing that I also want you to just have a look at, and this is part of your homework for today. You're not going to do any writing, but what I want you to do is to just refresh your memory and go through these 5 rules again and know them off by heart if you don't already. I think most of you know them off by heart, but just to remind you. And then the second thing I want you to do is on the second page that I've loaded up, you'll see that the auxiliary verbs there change. When we write them in the indirect, will changes to would, can to could, must, had to, shall to should, and may changes to might. I want you to learn that off by heart, because when you're going to do, not today, but tomorrow for homework, you'll be doing this page. And when you do that, you have to be able to apply these rules that you're going to learn off by heart today. The second thing I want you to look at as well on this page is that when we use time words like today or this evening or these, now, yesterday, they also change in the indirect speech. Like today becomes that day and this evening that evening. Tomorrow becomes the following day and etc. So I want you to look at these pages and learn them off by heart so that when you're going to apply your knowledge tomorrow for homework, you will be able to know it off by heart. Because when you write a test or exam, you won't have that paper with you. So it will be good if you start learning it all now already and then know it by the time you have to apply that knowledge on your own. Let's look at the next example I wrote here. I will go to school tomorrow, said Peter. Okay, we're going to apply the rules, but then we're also going to have a look at the pages I just mentioned, because we have to now also apply the times. If there's a time and I see tomorrow there, so that's going to have to change. And if we look at, I didn't actually put an auxiliary verb in there, so no, I did put will. So there we go. I've got it all in there. Now, if we change it, we're going to first of all just quickly look at the 5 rules again. Person's name, Peter. He's the one talking. He was saying, not shouting, not asking. Peter said. Number 3, that or if. This is not a question, so you use that. And then Peter said, I. This pronoun changes. If you look at it, we use the pronoun I, but now it changes to he in the indirect. So your pronoun changed. We've done that in grade 6 and grade 5 already. Peter said that he, now you change it to past tense. So your auxiliary verb will changes to would. Like I showed you here on this page, if you look at it there, you'll see that will changes to would. Go to school. And then the last thing is, you can't say tomorrow because in the indirect you could be speaking later than that day. So you will say, instead of tomorrow, you will use the words the following day. So number 1 is, if you look at the person's name, Peter. Number 2, the same verb, said. Number 3, that or if is here, that. Number 4, you change the pronoun from I to he. And then you changed will, which was in the present tense, to would, which is now number 5 there. And then if there are any time words, you also change those, which you've done from tomorrow to the following day. So this is just a quick video to explain this to you. And we will do a lot more exercises on this. So don't worry too much if you struggle. I've given you 11 sentences in the direct, but this is not for today. This is tomorrow's homework that you are going to have to change into the indirect. For today, all I want you to do is to learn the 5 rules off by heart and to focus on this page, because you have to know this table and this table off by heart, please. And then after you've done that, tomorrow I want you to just watch this video again to refresh your memory, and then you will be able to do all 11 of these on the page. If you don't have the page, you will be able to copy them off from Collaborum and just copy them into your grammar book, and make sure that you write the date, and the heading is indirect speech. And I will also include the memo on Collaborum for you so that you will be able to mark them and see where you made mistakes. It will be good if you don't do well in it, if you've got lots of them wrong, try it again, because you can just rewrite those sentences so that you are sure that you are already practicing them and getting them right in the end. Okay, grade 7s, it was great to spend time with you. I hope we see each other soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.